Right, good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I'm going to make a statement, first of all, about Iraq in my capacity as presidency of the Security Council. This is what the Security Council discussed and have agreed. The members of the Security Council reiterated their support for the ongoing efforts of the United Nations Assistance Mission in Iraq, known as UNAMI, and the SRSG Jan Kubish. Council members welcome the completion of the electoral recount and call on all Iraqi political entities to work together towards the formation of an inclusive, non-sectarian and pro-reform government that will ensure national unity, sovereignty and independence for Iraq. The Council welcomed full participation of women in these efforts, and you will know that we heard from a representative of civil society. Council members noted ongoing efforts to address water and electricity management issues in southern Iraq in response to the popular demands of the Iraqi people. They also noted ongoing demining efforts in Iraq by the United Nations Mine Action Service. The Council appreciated the role of UNAMI and the ICRC in the execution of their mandates in accordance with relevant Security Council resolutions pertaining to missing Kuwaiti and third country nationals and missing Kuwaiti property, and this includes the National Archives. The Council continues to encourage Iraq and Kuwait to intensify their efforts to reinvigorate the process and bring to an end this humanitarian issue. Council members highlighted the importance of accountability to strengthen the rule of law in Iraq. Council members underscored their support for Special Advisor Karim Khan and the establishment of his team, and Council members wanted to conclude by expressing their very deep thanks to Jan Kubish, who will shortly conclude his mission there and the work he and his team have done to help stabilise Iraq. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions in a presidency capacity before we move on.
When do you expect the government be formed, and how it is important for Iraq that the government is formed as soon as possible?
Well, I think the Council heard from the Special Representative about that particular issue, and we believe it will take some weeks yet for the government to be formed. I think the important thing from listening to the Special Representative is that the government is formed in an inclusive manner, and I think that is the overwhelming priority: inclusive and non-sectarian and pro-reform. I think those are the most important things for Iraq and the Iraqi people right now.
How concerned is the Council about remnants of Daesh and ISIS still roaming around in Iraq?
That remains an ongoing concern of the Council, not just in Iraq, but for all those other areas where Daesh is or has been present. We talked about accountability in this regard, and we talked about the need for a comprehensive approach to accountability, and I'm sure it's an issue the Council will return to. I'll take one more question, then we'll move over. Georgia will do in a different mode.
Your reaction to President Kabila announcing that he will not be standing for a third term? I mean, this has been a big issue for the Council.
The Council will want to not do that. The Council will want to discuss this. It's an issue that the Council and the Secretary-General have been very closely involved in. The news has only just broken about President Kabila's announcement, so the Council will want to have a proper discussion of that. But I think the most important thing is that the electoral process is seen to be credible, and upholds democratic reform. Thank you very much. We'll now move over to the podium, and I'll make a statement with my European colleagues in my national capacity. Thank you. You're happy for me to read it, yes? You don't want to read it, you're happy to me to do the reading? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now speaking in my national capacity as the permanent representative for the United Kingdom, and I have been joined by my colleagues on the Council from the United States, from Poland, from France, from the Netherlands, and from Sweden. It's about the situation in Georgia, which the Council discussed today in closed session. The 7th of August marked 10 years on from the 2008 conflict in Georgia. The Security Council today discussed developments since then, and we heard a briefing from Assistant Secretary-General Zeri Hoon. We remember those who died and those who lost their homes, the division of Georgia and the ongoing problems caused to Georgia and the region by the unresolved conflicts. It is deeply troubling that Russia continues to maintain large numbers of personnel and heavy weaponry on Georgian territory, seeks to develop military and security integration and cooperation relationships with both de facto authorities in South Ossetia and Abkhazia, and supports the process of borderization, which severely restricts people-to-people contacts, hinders reconciliation efforts, and damages livelihoods. Russia's actions show that international support for the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Georgia is as important now as it has ever been. The overwhelming majority of the international community does not recognize the self-declared independence of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, but the recognition and support for these breakaway territories by Russia perpetuates the division of Georgia and hence prolongs the conflict. This is destabilizing for Georgia, for the people of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, and for the region as a whole. Today, we call again on the Russian Federation to implement fully its obligations under the 6-point agreement of the 12th of August 2008. This agreement includes commitments to ensure that Russian armed forces withdraw to positions held before hostilities began and to establish an international security mechanism. The Georgian conflict has created a number of humanitarian issues, which include the plight of refugees and IDPs, restrictions on freedom of movement, and harm to civilian livelihoods. Today, we reiterate our support for the human rights of IDPs and refugees and the need for them to be allowed to return to their homes in safety and security. It is not too late for conflict resolution. To this end, we encourage all parties to redouble their engagement with the Geneva International discussions, to encourage the Georgian government to implement their new peace initiative, a step to a better future, and encourage the de facto authorities and people to engage with it. Thank you very much. I'm now going to invite my colleagues to join us and take questions. If you want to step forward, you're welcome to join me in taking questions. Yeah.
Is this an answer in some ways to the long statement Russia put out justifying its position on Georgia?
It's not a direct response to that. I haven't read the Russian statement. I haven't gone through it in detail, but it is an expression of how the United States and European colleagues feel very strongly about this conflict, and we wanted on around the 10-year anniversary to get our views very firmly on the record.
Thank you. Since this has been stalemated for so many years, is there any specific measure that could be taken to try and get some actual movement to resolve this?
Well, I think all the council bar members, bar one, who spoke, were really keen to encourage the Georgian government to press ahead with their peace initiative and to encourage all parties, which includes the Russian Federation, not only to implement the 12th of August 2008 agreement, but to engage with the Geneva International discussions. So I don't think it's a case of a new mechanism. I think it's a case of efforts being intensified to make progress on the mechanisms that exist.
Madam Ambassador, how is this issue affecting the relationship between your own country and the European countries and the United States with Russia?
It has been an issue that has been going for 10 years. The intervention by Russia in Georgia, we believe, broke international law. It caused a big humanitarian crisis that continues to this day. It is bound to be a factor in our relations with Russia, as is the Russian annexation of Crimea and Russian actions in places like Syria. But it is all part of what we deal with Russia in our various ways. We have no quarrel with the Russian people. I think we all seek a more productive relationship with Russia, but these international peace and security issues are real, and we need to make progress in dealing with them. Thank you very much.